Welcome, everyone. We are the many. We're grateful to be back, collaborating with our friends in the BTS Center in this online series of Laments with Earth. This is our fifth and last installment of Lament with Earth since we began these seasonal times to share our echo grief over a year ago. And we've been so thankful for these moments with all of you. We're grateful to have a special guest with us tonight who is one of the leading voices for climate justice in this country, Sister Joan Brown. She will be sharing our final blessing.
Summer in the Northern Hemisphere officially begins on the astronomical calendar on June 21st. And summer is a season when we often experience, or at least expect and hope to experience, more sun and light, and also more lightness, the freedom to play, vacation, relax, and be with friends, the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors. This is a time Matthew Fox calls via positiva, when awe and wonder are often our companions, and when joy comes more easily, along with thanks for the beauty we see around us and for life itself.
And yet, as we know, all is not right with the world. Because of climate change, while some enjoy vacations on beaches and air-conditioned workplaces, in summer, many more are dealing with devastating floods, extreme fires, and record-breaking heat waves. And with hotter temperatures and longer days, our cities see an increase in gun violence. This is where we find ourselves tonight, wanting to bask in summer's joys, but also so often pulled under by the undertow of summer's losses and sorrows.
Tonight, we invite you to join us in sharing our griefs and laments. Feel free to share your prayers in the chat or comments, and join with us in turning once again to our Creator God in spirit and in truth, to look for hope and healing for our world and for ourselves. Let's begin by breathing together.
Come in and breathe. Come in and just be. Breathe. Breathe. If you need to pray, if you need to weep, wherever you are, whatever you need, come in and just be. Come in and just breathe.
A reading from 1 Corinthians 12. If one part of our body hurts, we hurt all over. Together, you are the body of Christ. Each one of you is part of this body.
A quote from Bishop Desmond Tutu. Ubuntu speaks about our interconnectedness. We think of ourselves far too frequently as just individuals, separated from one another. Whereas you are connected, and what you do affects the whole world.
Someone once asked what would happen if one day the earth decided to exhale and swallow us whole. What would happen when a city drowns, when the earth chokes on itself, when the sky catches fire too, when the rivers dry and the oceans rise, where the mountains bow and the people no longer summon the weather on command, when the stories are just stories and folklore is just a warning. I find ordinary people who are determined to save the earth, who know climate change as an action and not a word. Like Lesotho, we meet the women whose names are always mother or man. Women who say child of my child when they greet you. Women who extend their hearts beyond their bodies, who told me of a symbiotic relationship with the earth. These women who carry sacks 3 times their size every day, dedicating their time to the eradication of pollution in their community. How they would drag these sacks filled with recycling, would then turn landfills into food banks, and they would laugh hard and heartily while their hands would ask the earth for forgiveness on our behalf. How they would talk the soil back to life, time and time and time and again, who introduced the idea of Ubuntu to me. I am, because we are. Women who labor every day for all of us and they are never celebrated. Yet they teach us the lesson of humility, who say, child of my child, look at how you help the earth breathe better.
Individualism, I feel, is one of the root causes of the environmental crisis that we are facing. Accumulation of wealth and rampant destruction of nature emanates from looking at life as the other. This othering is not Ubuntu. There is no other in Ubuntu. Harming the animals and plants around us is harming ourselves. That is why the philosophy of indigenous people, of which Ubuntu belongs, respects nature and sees nature as an extension. Restricting Ubuntu to only human beings does not do justice to the African view of nature as an extension of the human community, instead of something out there. I remember once walking in the forest of Sheka, a district in the southwest of Ethiopia, with the spiritual leader of the Ateso community, called Atestata. He is a tall man, with a warm smile and an air of calmness surrounding him. He was reading the forest to me, describing every little stream and lake that we crossed, and every big tree and forest patch that we passed. He was saying, "Do you see that little lake? It is sacred, and we have a ritual every other year to honor it and to thank our ancestors for keeping our land safe." He glances and points to a tall tree. "Do you see that tree? It is sacred, and we keep it in our prayers when we pray to our God." When we reach a small hill, he points at a part of a forest, which looked thicker. "Do you see that forest? It is sacred, and nobody can even cut grass from it except where they put their beehives." Every stream, every pond, and every patch of forest, every animal is sacred to him and the community. I think that is, for me, Ubuntu.
The oceans they cry out, and the mountains hear them moan, while all creation groans, and the ones with least control are the ones who get hurt the most. But the powers say that it's just the way things go. How long, oh Lord, will greed keep having its day? How long will the victims have to pay? How long until you hear us pray?
Franciscan Sister Joan Brown, who is Executive Director of New Mexico Interfaith Power and Light, a nonprofit that works for climate justice, talks about 3 foundational principles for harmony and wholeness in the world. To be part of the health and healing and restoration of Earth, we are called by God to embrace diversity, to be aware of and awake to the holiness of every piece of creation, and to communion, to be in community with all of life on this planet.
Tonight, as we spend some time in prayer, lament, and confession, we wanted to focus on how, in so many ways, so many in our world, including ourselves at times, have failed to follow that call. We've feared and fought against diversity, we've ignored the holiness, and so often seen ourselves as separate and independent, not interdependent, and part of a community. We miss so much because of that. We've lost so much because of that. And it feels like the beautiful world God intended for us has been thrown to the ground, shattered and crushed, left in pieces like broken pottery.
As we enter into this time of lament, we invite you, meditate, pray, name what feels broken for you. Name what you're grieving, what's been lost, where it hurts. Feel free to share your laments and confessions in the chat. At the end of each lament you've shared, one of us will say, "We cry out to you," and we invite all of you to respond, "How long, O Lord, how long?" Let's begin.
O God, we know that every human being, every drop of water, each grain of sand, each mountain and valley, every koala bear, every elephant, every hummingbird, you made us all distinct and different, and you made us good. The universe thrives on this diversity, yet so often diversity and differences are feared, avoided, destroyed, and the whole earth suffers because of it. As we name what fear of differences has caused in our world, God, we cry out to you. How long, O Lord? How long?
O God, in our heart of hearts, we believe every created thing is holy. This blade of grass, that handful of soil, those geese and grasshoppers, this tree, that river, this child, that child, all of it holy. But that's not how the world works. The world runs on greed and guns and power and pride and winning and self-interest, and not on honoring the sacredness within us and all around us. As we name where we're seeing the results of this desecration on our climate, on plants and animals and humans and rivers and oceans, God, we cry out to you. How long, O Lord? How long?
As Thich Nhat Hanh has said, we are here to awaken from the illusion of our separateness. On some deep level, we know that we are made for communion and community. We have heard the call to love our neighbor as ourselves and to see that all of us, all beings on this planet, are neighbors. But still, we so often live as if we alone matter. We ignore the web of mutuality Dr. King reminded us that we are a part of. We want to change. We try to change, but it's so hard. As we share our confessions, God, we cry out to you, how long, O Lord, how long?
Glory be to God for wacky things. Weird and wobbly and wayward and worn and unlike any other things. Freckled, speckled, huddled, befuddled, audaciously unrattled things.
Glory be to God for slithering, sliding, swimming, hopping, running, roaring, soaring, snoring, snorting, breaching, spouting, and singing things. Glory be to God for things that crawl up walls and push through soil and shout to bees and call our names, that relish rain and honor sun, and who bloom despite all odds.
Glory be to God for growing things, for babies and beans, and flowers and cucumbers and radishes, trees and weeds and big fat tomatoes, for vines that wind and bushes aflame and waters that roam, rest, rush, and relentlessly wave.
Glory be to God for eyes that see and ears that hear, for every part of us, all of us, just as we are. For the unraveled and undone, but not done yet of us. For the broken, bruised, yet still here of us.
Glory be to God for
All of us.
all of us. And the invisible, ineffable, holy thread that weaves us all together.
Sometimes we've got to wonder if this intricate web of creation would be better off without humans involved. But one of the gifts, it seems, that we humans uniquely bring to the party is our consciousness. As John Andrews has said, we can comprehend the awesomeness of the cosmos, the delightful intricacy of a flower. We can transcend our selfish genes. Imagine a universe in which there are no such beings. Such a world would be empty of meaning. No joy, no awe, no hope, no love.
So as we enter into this time for gratitude, we invite you to remember the joy and awe that are so much a part of this Via Positiva season that we are now in. And we invite you to think about and name something which you find beautiful and good and inspiring in our world right now. Because this is the kind of deep seeing that we need in order to deeply care for our world.
The spoken word piece we just shared was inspired by the poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins, which begins, "Glory be to God for dappled things." Tonight, we encourage you to rewrite that line yourself as a kind of fill in the blank. How would you end the sentence, "Glory be to God for blank"? We'd love to see what you come up with, so please feel free to share as many as come to mind in the chat or the comments. Let's begin.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice. The sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. The sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind, it will turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. Ooh. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
May the God who is always and forever with us and for us fill us with hope and help us believe it is not too late. May we go forth to embrace diversity, awaken to the holiness all around us, and live in harmony, communion, and oneness with all life on this planet, singing the song that's for us all.
As we close, we invite you to say this with us. You are not alone. I am not alone. We are not alone. You are not alone. I am not alone. We are not alone.
Friends, we are so thankful for the ways that you show up and co-create this experience with us. We invite you to continue the conversation by joining us for Zoom after this presentation.
I'm so grateful for this community that we've formed over the past year. Peace and blessings to you as you continue your journey.
Blessings of peace and justice and restoration and healing for all creation. Go in peace.
Thank you so much for being with us. We've loved spending this time with you, and it's been so meaningful and important to us. Peace and blessings.
This series of events with the BTS Center, Lament with Earth, has been so meaningful to me. I'm so grateful to all the folks at the BTS Center for their work and their partnership. I'm so grateful to all of you for being a part of this with us, and I'm so, as always, grateful to the many for their creativity, their commitment. This has been a great series for me, and I'm grateful.